Hello, folks, and welcome to Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal Tuesday night show. How you doing, Denise?
I'm good. I hope everybody's having a good day. It's beautiful here.
It's not bad up here right now. The temperature is, let me pull this up real quick. I know it got up to about 50 today. It's at 47 right now. Ooh, heavy rains at times tomorrow. Oh, that's life in Missouri.
Yeah, they're calling for us to possibly have some freezing rain tomorrow. But again,
well, that's
I told
what
Ron,
they were talking about. Somebody
up there
sending you a
too.
message.
Yeah, it's our
they were
one of our
talking
guests.
about it.
One of our guests is trying to join now. So tonight we got a couple guests, so it's going to be fun. We got Matt Bennett coming on. He used to be on a show on Skydor Network, and he'll talk about that. And we're also going to have on Bart Towler, who's been on the network on other shows, but it's been a little while since we've had him on here. So I think it'll be good for him. He's a great one to have, that if you're a skeptic or you want to debunk something, he is great at debunking. Matt, on the other hand, you'll find him very entertaining, to be honest. He's very knowledgeable of many things paranormal, and I think that it'll be interesting for everybody to hear his take on stuff.
Oh yeah.
I've sent him to. He's had some issues in the past with paranormal, with curses and stuff, and I've sent him on to, like I said last night, sometimes it's okay to say I don't know and to pass them off to someone else. Mm-hmm. And I passed him off to June Lundgren. So, and she's the demon seer. So for me to send somebody to her, I have to think that whatever they're telling me is really bad.
Right.
And so, and she was able to help him and break a curse that he had on him. And I saw him go from down in the dumps to not. It was great. Right. So I hope that he can
enlighten us a little bit.
I hope that he'll like that. I thought, yeah.
And hello to Susan, and hello to Mort.
Yeah, I hope you guys are good. Are we still on for next weekend, Susan? So that'll be fun to get out of the house for a little while.
Yeah, it will.
So I need to get out for a little bit. So I'm waiting on Matt now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and she says yes, you're on.
Is it okay if I talk about it, Susan?
Do. So, now we need the countdown.
Oh, there we go. There's Matt. So, well, we're going to welcome Matt Bennett into the stream here. Hello, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
How you doing? Sorry, you've got me on the road for a minute, but I'm hands-free, so I won't be able to look much into the camera, but I can sure talk.
Yeah, please don't look in the camera. Watch where you're going.
Right.
I don't want you to have this car get wrecked.
The last one wasn't my fault.
I know the last one wasn't your fault, but you've still got to be paying attention so that you can be a defensive driver.
Yes, ma'am.
So don't.
How's everyone doing tonight?
So
doing great.
So Matt is the founder of it says Bart.
Des Moines Paranormal Activity Research Team.
So he's up there in Des Moines area.
Oh, not too far away.
No, not too far. And he's been a great friend ever since I've met him. We've been friends for quite a while.
I'm trying to think how we met, actually, now that you just brought that up.
Probably Kelly.
Was it Kelly? I'm trying to... Was it... Did we know each other before the school?
I don't know. I know I talked to you before the school, and we decided I wasn't going to go up there because I got sick. So
I remember you at least being up there once, though.
Nope. Never
You never
went.
did come?
Mm-mm. So that would have been, you know what? That was 2018. That was right, or 2018.
Yeah, we lost the school in 2018, December of 2018. We got the notice in November.
Yeah. So yeah, I was supposed to come up and help with your event, and I couldn't because I ended up getting sick. That was when I had the fever, Carl.
Yeah.
And I started getting all the stuff and ended up with the lung nodules, and that was the beginning of.
That was the beginning of all this you got.
Yep, it was right after we went to Ashmore Estates and all that stuff, and
Right.
so that was 2018, and I remember we talked on the phone before that, but we had to have met through your.
And that's a weird thing because now I don't know how many of this is happening to other people out there or any of your listeners, but here lately, I've been talking to people and it's different synchronicities are lining up and they're happening. I'm trying to remember where I met certain people from, and I'll be damned if I can't remember where I met them. Some kind of like this case here.
Uh-huh.
I don't really remember where me and you met, Denise. I know we met. Maybe it was it in Alton, Illinois?
It could have been, but I don't. You know what it was?
Have you been to any of the Paracons down here around Kansas City or
No,
anything?
it was Alton. We met at Haunted Road Media Paracon.
That's what I thought.
That was the first time we met in person.
I think we had talked and interacted over online before that, but I think Alton was the first time we actually got a chance to meet in person. Now that was a crazy investigation. You want to talk about dreams and stuff coming? I dreamed about that place for 2 years prior to investigating it. I would have these reoccurring dreams of different. Okay, so I would be in one location, but the one location would have different places that would remind me of another location. Like the staircase reminded me of the schoolhouse. The upstairs reminded me a lot of Malvern. We won't even talk about downstairs and the wells down there. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of just a little nuances that remind you of a different place. And then when I was there investigating, I saw the staircase there, as right there by the shop, as they were getting ready to take out the groups. They were breaking them up right there by that staircase that we led upstairs and went down. That was the staircase that triggered it. I recognized it from the school. I'm like, holy shit, that looks like. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can cuss or not. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So
that was the moment I realized that that was Alton was the place I had been dreaming about for 2 years prior.
And we were in different groups that night, I think.
We were.
We had 3 different groups that were going on, and like we've talked about this before on different shows about how Ron and Mike, the group we were with, got abandoned by our group.
Yeah.
And I was not a happy camper. And then to find out that this team is the team that ends up on Ghost Hunters, I'm like, this is bullshit.
Just a little bit.
Well, because we had Rochelle was our team lead. Brian never showed up, but Rochelle was there telling us, hey, just go investigate. It wouldn't answer any of my questions, wouldn't do any of that. And I'm inquisitive,
We had some really cool interaction down in the old springs. You know that down at the very, 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 very bottom level where that rebar was hanging from the ceiling?
Yep.
We got that to balance for yes or no questions.
Oh wow.
And so down there was Coyote Chris. He was leading the investigation part in the cellar by the
Guides, rest his soul. I miss him already.
We talk about him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That man was amazing. Is amazing. He still is amazing because you know what? Even though he's not in this physical realm, he's still over on the other side doing his work. You better believe that.
Oh yeah, and he's still leading all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every time we talk about him, we know that it's him jumping into our minds because we need him.
I got introduced to him by a man named George Turner. I don't know if you guys knew who George is or not.
I have a book by George.
I love George. I need to talk to him again here soon. I was just thinking about him the other day, actually, because he was such a facilitator of knowledge for me for like 2 years straight. It was crazy. And now to be on the other end of that, helping other people and facilitating the knowledge that I got from him and passing that along, it just kind of had what's that full circle moment the other day. And I was thinking about him. And it's just kind of funny now that Coyote Chris's name coming up back up, because that's who introduced me to Chris was George.
Yeah. I've known Chris. Basically, I've known him since 2009, and I wouldn't trade any moment I spent with him for anything. You know,
Truly an amazing man.
I cherish those moments with him because, you know, we had so many private moments that nobody else was part of, you know.
Right. And that's just the thing. You know, he was one of those guys where, you know, Matt, you know, if you ever need anything, call me. And I did. And he was there for, you know, he was there for anybody who needed him.
You want to know what's great, though? I have a story about him. Hey, Howard.
Hi, Howard.
So one time I got a phone call, and it was from this guy named Dave. He lives in Alton, and he called me here. And of course, I live in Kansas. You know, I can't do much for a guy in Alton in Kansas. So I listened to his story, and he sounds like he's got mental health issues. Either he's an alcoholic or a drug addict or something like that. And he keeps talking about that the crucifix on his wall is talking to him and that it's a demon, you know. And I was like, out of all things, it's probably not a demon, you know, because I doubt that a demon would choose a crucifix and talk to you out of. But he got to the point where he was telling me that he had aliens in his house. Okay. So I take down all these notes. And I listen to him. Ron listens to him. Ron's sitting there going, "That the guy's nuts." And I was like, "But I'm going to be, benefit of the doubt." And so I get off the phone with him, and as I'm getting off the phone with him, I tell him, "I know some people in your area, and I'll see if I can get one of them to contact you." So I called.
Let me guess, it was Chris.
Yeah, I called Chris.
Yep.
And I told him what was going on. And he goes, "Denise, I'll go over there and I will call you and let you know what I find." So, and I told him, I said, "I suspect," hey, Crystal, I said, "I suspect that he's an alcoholic." And I said, "I also suspect that he's a hoarder." Chris calls me. He goes, "You're right. He's an alcoholic and a hoarder." And he goes, "I told him that once he decluttered his house, I would clear it for him. But until he declutters, I can't do anything." He goes, "Because it's not going to."
It's just otherwise you're just putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times that man helped me remotely with cases where we would just be completely stumped, and I just out of nowhere have a feeling to call him, and I'd call him, and I'd happen to catch him at the right time. And I tell you what, we never had any problems resolving it. It was just amazing to see him work.
It was. And, I know that you probably witnessed him at the Farrar Schoolhouse as well.
Where the Farrar Schoolhouse, but where I really, 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 truly saw him shine was down in Arkansas.
Oh, yeah.
Arkansas was unlike any other investigation I've ever been on. And I think, were you in our group?
No, we did
you
not
weren't in our group.
We didn't show up until Saturday.
That's right. You guys didn't. Yeah, that's right.
Well, we actually remember we showed up Friday night, and you were there in that insane Cards Against Humanity game that we played there.
Oh, the infamous one, yes.
So that's where we did that, and then we came down on Saturday because we weren't going to come to that event because I was supposed to have a grandbaby that weekend, and the grandbaby was stillborn in January. That's why we were there, was to keep my mind off of what had just happened.
Yeah, no, I never before have I ever heard and seen such coordination between entities and spirits and spirit guides than I did that night in Arkansas. It was truly awe-inspiring.
If there had been better synchronicity, we'd have had something to celebrate. Yeah, especially
there was,
with the wolf that showed up. The wolf that
there
showed
was
up.
and that's what I'm talking about. There was plenty to celebrate because that's what it was. They were like, it was the weirdest thing, and I was out with Aaron. I was with Aaron's group from Ghost Crier, Aaron and Nick. And some of the stuff they were getting, they were kind of like, does that make sense? Does that make sense? And I'm like, oh yeah, no, that makes perfect and total sense. It was pinpointing the wolf's location and where it was at and what it was doing, and actually coordinating between. I've never ever experienced anything like it in 10 years. It was.
So for you, those of you listening, he's talking about Aaron G. Thompson, who's a
Yep,
regular on the show, and Nick Simons, who's also a regular on this show. And what we're talking about is Dog Patch USA when we went to an event down there with Dark Knight Paranormal.
Got a big shout out to Dwayne. I haven't talked to him in a minute neither. I need to get a hold of him one of these days here soon and see how that whole group's doing.
But you say a wolf showed up?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the allegory we're using. It's a certain individual.
Well, there was also another beautiful animal showed up there as well.
Yes, it was, like I said, it was you could tell it was much more to certain people than just an investigation. It was synchronicities hooking up. It was I can't even put it into words.
I can put it into words. We had some really weird people at this event. And one of them, Ron wanted to beat the shit out of before this.
Was that the one that was at the came into the
in our hotel room?
Yeah.
Yeah. So needless to say, it was interesting, and I was very nice, and everybody will know it. They all know I was very nice and friendly, killed them with kindness, and Ron did not.
It was just kind of, and then it was just like I said, the whole, I don't know, just everything that ensued afterwards. I mean, it's crazy to see how synchronicity is working, and nowadays it seems like, okay, so those of you probably know I've had to take in a couple of years hiatus from actually doing any actual investigating.
Right.
For my show, I've pretty much taken a hiatus from pretty much everything in the last couple of years due to health reasons. But it seems like when I took a break from that, and I still help people consult over the phone and stuff, and I've actually done a couple of things here and there for friends and people that need help. But hey, dude, that's my lane. Are you serious right now? Wow, he just pulled right out in front of me, guys. I'm sorry, he just about hit me.
It's okay.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm married to Road Rage Ron. So
that wasn't even just rage. That was just please quit being dumb. Anyway, what was I saying? I was saying something.
That's okay. You didn't say anything horrible.
You was talking about your hiatus.
Oh yeah, the hiatus. And ever since I had to take kind of a step back and a break, the synchronicities have been
lining up.
It's more than that. It's not just with me. It's with everybody, or not everybody, but certain individuals that I know, like close individuals. Their dreams, that people are having the same types of dreams. I'm having people come up, complete strangers, and validating those dreams. It's mind blowing.
Have you heard the experience of people having the exact same dream at the same time?
I heard. I'm not sure the term, but I've heard of it happening, and that's kind of what's going on right now.
Yeah, Ron did that when he was a kid. Him and his brother had the same dream on the same night, and they were finishing each other's sentences on what had happened in the dream.
Oh wow! Did it ever come to fruition, or was it just kind of a?
It was just some weird. We'll go with synchronicity at the time that they both had the same dream.
Weird.
So, and for Ron, that's huge.
Yeah.
So, and it sounds like Ron's here.
Yay.
Yay.
Coming in from his walk.
Yep. Today was a good day for a walk.
Yeah.
Today is a beautiful day out today. Today was actually a no coat weather day. The only reason I'm wearing my coat is because I use my coat for my wallet and in my pockets and stuff. But other than that, it's been a warm day today. It's really been nice.
So, Matt, how did you guys get started with Depart?
That's kind of a weird and long story. I had just gotten turned down for the disability on my back, my bad back. And I was kind of in a bad state of mind, depression and the like. And my grandmother had passed, but I don't know, a couple of years prior to that. And I'm just sitting on the couch one day. I don't remember what I was watching. I don't remember if I was watching like YouTube ghost videos or something. I was watching something paranormal. And I'm sitting there thinking, I could do that. And then I hear my grandmother's voice and I smell her perfume. And she's like, why don't you do something about it? And so I started the group. I got some family members together. I got some close friends, and we started in early 2010, and we've been kind of just trudging through ever since.
And how many of your team members are still team members from the original team?
From the original team, the family members are there. Not a lot of them are active nowadays with the busy lives that they have, but they know that they always have spots. But you know, the wife, the 4 kids, that's pretty much it right now. We have one gal up in northern Iowa, Algona, that is part of the team. But like I said, we really haven't been active as a team and going out and investigating much of anything in the last couple of years due to my health. So,
well, yeah, you guys had, when we went to the Paracon up there in Marshalltown, Matt had been in a really bad accident with his wife, and so.
See, I feel like that was a whole string of synchronicities too. I don't know if I told you this or not, but I actually had, I don't know if you want to call it a vision, a thought of how the whole instance played out about 3 months later in my head, because it actually caught stuff medically wrong with both me and my wife. It was for her, it was her gallbladder.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was that mass in my gut that they had missed.
Yeah, because otherwise you guys probably wouldn't even have went to the doctor.
Nope, we wouldn't have. So I heard the whole conversation go down with my guys. I've got a guy that I wouldn't necessarily call him bad, but I just wouldn't necessarily call him good either. He's just kind of a neutral. He has goals and stuff to accomplish, and he'll do any means necessary to get those goals accomplished. That's the one that I feel like directly works with karma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so he's all in the back, be like, you know, because all the guides are together and like, well, we missed this and this. This is something pretty big. You know, we need to get this dealt with. Otherwise, their lives might be in danger. And the guy in the back's like, I got an idea. Y'all ain't gonna like it, but I got an idea.
Oh, okay.
I got a couple guys over here that are in need of some karmic justice. Their checks due. I've been trying to get it cashed for a while. How about we throw them in front of old boy here and get him, not kill him. We won't kill him. We'll just hurt him a little bit to get him to go to the hospital to get the problems taken care of. That'll take care of 2 birds with 1 stone.
Well, you know, that's the thing. A lot of people during that time, and I hate to say this, most likely Coyote Chris as well, did not see a doctor when they should have. Because of COVID, they didn't want to go to the doctor and possibly get sick.
COVID. People have to understand that, and I don't know if I hope I don't get all wonky and maybe upset viewers, but people have to understand that there has been a change going on in the quantum level for many years now, and we're finally starting to see the fruition of that in the 3D realm. And part of that is the battle between whatever you want to call it, good, evil, hell, heaven, devils, angels, whatever, but there are 2 warring factions at a quantum level in the spiritual realm that are vying for control. And that's what this whole thing is it's light workers and energy workers are all trying to scramble to get what we need to get done for what's coming. And obviously the other side is doing the same thing, and it's taking some damn good people out with it.
Well, like I said, there are people out there that just didn't go to the doctor during that time.
Nope.
And it had nothing to do with anything other than we just don't want to go where you know, it was fear. I mean, there was a lot of fear out there at that time. So,
Yeah, no, yeah.
And with your wife working in the medical field, she had reason for fear.
We all did because I had direct contact with her because she came directly home to me.
Right.
So,
and she ended up getting COVID, didn't she?
She did, but it was a funny story. It wasn't even through her work. It was I ended up getting it somehow. I think somewhere between a concert or a family member somewhere, and ended up giving it to her that way. That's the only time we've ever had COVID is once, and I ended up bringing it into the house. She didn't even get it from work.
Well, that's good. I'm glad
Well,
she
yeah.
didn't get it from work. So,
I hope y'all don't mind, but I'm gonna, while we're talking, I need to go in and get some dinner.
Okay.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Hey, this is still better than the time that I had a guest on that was blending smoothies during the commercials.
If you want, we have commercials coming up, I can wait for a commercial.
No, we don't have commercials.
No, you're good.
Just go
You're
do what
good,
you got to
Matt.
do. We should be having Bart should be here soon.
Yeah,
So
we're
do
good.
what you got to do. So,
Now I can hear you. All right, come on. It won't take very long at all, and I can talk while we're doing it. Ouch.
okay. We got another question here. So if you guys have
What's
any
that?
questions at all for Matt, please put them in the chat. And when the time comes, same goes for Bart. If you have any questions at all for Bart, we'll ask the questions. Get them in now. That way we got them ready to go when we got them both paying attention. So do you have any plans to do anything this year?
I've got some thoughts that I'd like to do, but actually getting them done is another thing. I would like to get out to Rockford, not Rockford. Oh, that YMCA in Illinois.
Oh, okay.
Rock
I know
Island.
what you're talking about. Rock Island YMCA.
Rock Island, yeah. No, I want to get out there.
Yeah, that's one of the places that we've been talking about trying to get to before we don't live so close.
Right.
Not that we live close now, but when we live much further.
I feel like we probably should be doing a joint investigation of that place.
Yeah, we've been invited now a couple times, so we've got to make sure that we take up on that offer.
That's one of those things where I feel like I'm kind of being called to.
It looks interesting anyway. I mean, isn't it a furniture store?
Looks interesting and sounds interesting from the live videos we've seen up there.
Hold on 1 second here.
Okay. I'll just mute him for a second.
Yeah.
So Matt, you're muted, so don't worry. We'll bring you back when you're unfrozen. So Matt is a bunch of knowledge all in a big energy ball. And he sometimes talks about things that are way up here.
Uh-huh.
But he's big on, we got you muted, Matt. Let me unmute you.
I'm done for a second until I get back downstairs.
Okay. So I had you muted so that we didn't overhear what you were talking about. So,
right.
But
can I mute myself? Wait for me to. Yeah, there is. Okay, I'll hit the mic button when I order my food.
Right.
Yeah, please.
I'll see it down there at the bottom.
Okay. So, but yeah, like I said, he is just a big energy ball of all kinds of stuff, and he'll share with you till you can't take, and which is a good thing. So,
right.
Spend a
and
lot
Denise
of time
is freezing up
with Matt over the years. We spent some time down with him in Arkansas as well. So, and we really love being around Matt because, like I said, it's all that energy, and you can't see nothing but light when he speaks. He's excited about everything.
Yeah, I've heard you talk
Not
about him a lot
everybody is
and listened to his radio shows when he had him on.
Oh, guys, you're making me blush.
Hey.
You probably listened to him when I was on there with him and Kelly as well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So there was one night Ron and I were on with Kelly and Mike.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was probably the best 2 hours ever. All we could do was laugh.
Hello, I need tacos. I don't need any chips. I just. Yep, 4 or 5. Yeah, let's do 4.
There we go. Got him muted now.
Yeah.
So, yes, I want some tacos too, but no.
Yeah, that sounded pretty good, actually.
So, I don't know. So, Matt, if you're talking to us, we can't hear you right now. You're muted. But yeah, I miss some of the shows that him and Kelly used to do together. He was the co-host with Kelly.
Right.
And it was always, again, like I said, it was way up here sometimes. And I always felt like the dumb person in the room when I would be on with them, because I don't talk like that. So, but the way he explains stuff, I can get it.
Right.
So.
Well, it's a small world. You look at all the investigators we know in Iowa and around our certain states connected here to Missouri and Kansas that we get on these shows. It's amazing. It
is. And there's such a diverse knowledge base.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's no different than like when we talk to David, sometimes the ideas that David Glidden has are, way out there, but he can explain them to where we get them.
Yeah, he explains them, and then most of them he puts into action.
Yeah. And Matt explains stuff in these ways that sometimes, don't take this the wrong way, makes me feel stupid, but I get it. I get it after I think about it a little bit.
Right.
That's funny that you say that, because I feel kind of dumb sometimes trying to get information out. I bumble over my words all the time.
Sometimes I think that we're meant to do that so that we can explain it to ourselves.
Right.
That's a great thought. I never thought about it that way.
Well, the reason I say that is because I had a guy at work that every staff meeting we had, I had to spend an extra half an hour after staff meetings explaining to him what the bosses said, what it meant. And it was nothing other than the fact that they didn't use the word. I always called them Donisms. His name was Don. And they had to be in Don's language for him to understand it. So I could turn around and take whatever they said and put it in language that Don could understand. So sometimes that's what you're doing, is you're taking what you've just said and putting it in a language that somebody else can understand and digest.
That's funny you say that, because my wife oftentimes says that she speaks Matt, and well, not just her, it's everybody that hangs around me on a regular basis. They all say they're fluent in Matt.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So there you go. So apparently I get you.
Are you done? You got yours. Grab your mom's.
So
we are done.
Well, that's good. That means Lynn gets to eat tonight.
Not to eat, but we're eating tasty taco salad.
See?
All right, I'm up on mute again here real fast, and we'll be right down.
Okay.
So, and I've gotten messages from Bart saying that he'll be here soon.
Right. And you've seen that message from Susan that said you could talk about that.
So, yeah. So what that is we're going down to Springfield next Sunday to check out a new location that's just recently been opened as an Airbnb. And this place, one of the cops from Live PD, Craig Mile, opened a bed and breakfast, and it's actually in Ozark, Missouri, which I knew that. I was just being vague.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know where Ozark is, it's just south of Springfield. And so we're going to go stay at his haunted morgue, and I think it was also a church. I don't know anything about. Yeah, Susan said it's okay.
Okay.
So we're going to go down and check that out. So we'll be one of the first I'm not saying the first, but one of the first sets of people to go in there to investigate it. So it's going to be fun.
Well, that's going to be interesting. A morgue, possibly a church, and now a Airbnb.
Yep.
That's quite the arrangement there.
Yep.
There's Ron. Hey, Ron.
Hey, Matt.
So we're
What's
still
going on, Carl? What we got in here? Susan, Mike,
Crystal.
Crystal, Howard.
Church and morgue in the basement.
Yep.
Be interesting.
And
Right.
Well, if they were in the basement, what was in the top part?
church.
No, it says church and morgue in the basement. Is
You
that
know,
what the church
Denise
was
would
down
be
there
good.
too,
No.
or
I think she's
Oh,
saying
church
that it
and
was
morgue
a
in the
church,
basement.
church?
and then the morgue
The
was in the
morgue
basement.
was in the basement. Awesome.
Or both.
Hello, Evelyn. So
Hi,
it'll
Evelyn.
be interesting to see.
They have funerals at churches.
But yeah, he was saying that stuff kept happening while he was doing the remodel. I would see different things, and when Susan would hear something good, she'd send it to me. And so
You're all right, Susan.
we're gonna go down there and check that out. It was gonna be fun. I can't wait to see Susan and Mike next week and get
Is that
away.
next week? Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well,
It's Sunday,
today's Tuesday.
so
Yeah, I finally got to meet them down in Joplin. Real nice couple.
she called me one time and said, "You want to meet for lunch?" And I didn't know who they were, and I said, "Sure." And she goes, "Well, where would
Definitely
you like
take-
to meet?" And I said, "On the border. My daughter works there." So we met on the border in Overland Park. And one time I called her by accident, and I spilt my smoothie in the floorboard of my car. And my car, I had just bought the car. And so I had to stop and scoop the smoothie out of my car.
This is how I find out stuff.
Yeah.
By eavesdropping. See, I didn't know that.
It was back in
A lot of things I didn't
that
know.
was back in 2017.
Well,
So on the border, the restaurant down there in Overland Park,
Yeah.
right?
hmm
I used to work for a company down in Kansas City driving the end dump that we did all the groundwork and concrete work for that building.
Oh, the one in Overland Park there?
Yep.
Which one? There's two.
God, which one?
The
this
one-
one Carl did.
The one by the Sprint campus or the one by Oak Park Mall?
One by Sprint Campus.
Okay, that's the one that we went to. It was because I
Yeah.
worked at Sprint campus, and so I was always up there, so I felt comfortable there.
And the reason
Yeah,
I
it was
remember that
hard.
real well, we had the end dump backed up there, and the guy was loading it, was digging out for the foundation and everything.
hmm
For some reason, there was a gigantic boulder piece of concrete down in there.
Because
When-
it was, you know what that land was? It was all farmland before
Right.
the campus, and they just dumped
Anyway,
all the crap down
oh,
there.
we lost Matt.
I
But
know.
anyway, the guy
He just
picks
got in
it
his
up.
car.
He picks it up, and as he's going over the truck, he drops it on the tailgate and busts my rear tailgate off.
Oh shit!
Yeah, on an end dump, it's one of those hydraulic ones. I remember that. Oh, that was a pain. I had to weld that thing back on.
Do you know what that on the border is now?
What?
It's a Shake Shack and a Hellsberg Diamonds. They tore it down. In fact, remember when I was in the hospital with the collapsed lung? Lacey picked me up from the hospital and took me there because they were cleaning out that building. And so I'm laying in one of the seats while they were cleaning the building out. waiting for
There's our
Ron.
third contestant for the beard contest tonight.
Hi guys.
There he is.
Hey, Bart. Yeah, I'm not the only one in the car tonight, guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hell, I
So I
lost
said,
it.
Matt just got in his car. Probably a little quieter.
Hey, Bart. We got
What?
Matt Bennett on here with you.
Hey Matt.
Hey, Bart. Long time no talk to you, buddy.
Yeah, let's stir up some crap tonight.
We've been working on it.
So, and Susan, yes, we did make great friends at that lunch,
Right.
and I wouldn't trade that for anything now. So that's what we're going to be doing next weekend is checking out Craig Miles' haunted Airbnb down there in Ozark, Missouri. So, and for those of you who don't know, Craig Mile was one of the cops on Live PD, and he retired from the police down there in Springfield. And I have pictures with him somewhere. So not everybody wants to say that they take pictures with cops, but I guess I do.
I had a retired cop on my show 3 times.
Usually I'm getting my pictures taken by the cops.
Well, that's a whole different
For
problem.
free, right?
Yeah.
They'll charge you for that later.
Oh,
on.
they-
Usually got that number right in front of me too.
Huh.
Are you standing frontwards and sideways there, Bart?
Oh yeah.
Well, they want to get all the good angles.
And 666, right?
Yes. You know, Facebook's probably got my profile picture more times than anybody now.
Well, yeah. Well, we knew something had happened when you changed your name.
Oh yeah.
A 60-day ban this time.
What in the heck did you do this time?
You know that picture. You know that picture that was floating around of Hunter Biden hanging underneath the balloons with his underwear on.
Yep.
They told me it was sexually explicit material.
Okay, so what he did wasn't sexually explicit?
Well, I didn't think it was that bad. It didn't show his little pecker or anything like that. So they nailed me, and then somebody else reported it, and so they gave me another 30 days on top of that. And
Oh man.
so yeah,
Are you trying
Just
to?
for making fun of the old Husk kid.
yeah,
Maybe.
you know, and
What a shame.
so yeah, I had to start the new account, Harry Balzac.
I
You know,
Wow.
like it.
It can get you for a picture like that, but the
Oh,
name
yeah.
like that,
but they won't let.
they allow it.
Yeah. Oh well.
This
It is what it is.
Yeah, you can just start using all the names off the Simpsons that Bart used, and that way you'll be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can. Well, I have an email server, so I can start as many accounts as I want. So it makes it nice.
Well, you
Yeah,
see
I
where the
told-
Simpsons their new episode with China about China, it got banned. They
Oh,
can't
really?
show it. Yeah, they can't show it. That was out on the news today that it got banned.
Oh, great.
Yeah, they're getting way too picky on this crap.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's because everybody has hurt feelings so fast.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different ball game, and so let's stick to the paranormal stuff, and that way we don't piss anybody.
Well, and that's okay. So this kind of is a good segue into this. And I was talking to, I think it was Kelly the other day, about how both her and I have noticed that we've been talking to a lot of people that have been going through what seems to be mass depression, but it's kind of a unique in the fact that they're the only ones thinking that they're going through it. If you were to ask, you know, they're not realizing that it's happening on a global scale, like I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, it is happening
yeah.
on a global scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Matt.
Yeah. No doubt.
And I think what's happening right now is I've also been talking and taking a lot of calls here lately with people that are getting ready to go through their awakening or going through it or starting it. It's almost like it's a call to arms, almost spiritual arms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
honestly, I think we're in a spiritual fight right now.
we were just talking about that before you joined, Bart, and how and how the synchronicities and the reverse synchronicities have been just off of the charts lately.
I totally agree. It's been crazy, and I'm seeing it in close friends. I'm seeing it in my neighbors. And everybody's just short tempered here lately.
Well, yeah, they walk around
Oh, yeah.
drive all pissed off.
Okay, well, so I don't know if anybody else as an empath has this issue, but this has been going on now for at least 2 years since about the start of COVID.
Yeah.
Where I'll wake up, I'll go to bed fine, and I'll wake up, and instantly it's not just a little bit angry, it's not just a little bit irritated or pissed off, it's full on like snapping rage when I wake up. It's almost like I wake up in a pool of this shit. And while I'm sleeping, I can't discharge it because obviously I'm sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've been the same way.
You don't remember anything, any dreams or anything like that, or
The dreams I've been having have been along the same lines as T's and Kelly's dreams. We've got at least three people that I know of, if not more, sharing the same exact dreams.
right? I've seen
Along-
that happen.
Along with it follows a post-apocalyptic. It happens. Everything goes to hell. And now it's us trying to keep the kids in the next generation safe. So we set up these,
That's
we
a
call
goal.
them schools, and it's all about the spiritual warfare at that point.
Yeah, see, I've noticed the last 2 years, my dream patterns are almost non-existent.
And see, that's crazy because I've got both two people that I know that are really close that are not only sharing the same dreams, but they're on the same dream schedule. When T's dreams picked up, Kelly's did too.
Oh,
And
wow.
vice versa.
You know,
So
I haven't. Last night was the first time I had a dream that I could remember.
Mhm.
I don't
and the
sleep
other
more than 2 hours a night of REM sleep.
and then the other night I had a really weird dream. It was the post-apocalyptic shit again. We're going from building to building, sheltering down. You always feel like there's something out there, but you can never see quite what. And then it was the weirdest thing. It was almost like it was in a beam of light. Everything else was dim and grungy. And there was the school, or what looked like our schoolhouse. And I was forced to sit there in my dream and watch it be torn down piece by piece by piece by piece.
What do you
And
think
watching
that
the paranormal
represented?
ramifications that occurred afterwards.
What do you think that tearing it down piece by piece signified?
Just how important of the location that was.
So to you or to the world or
To the workings as a whole on a spiritual level, as a wheel, as a I'm not going to say a huge wheel, but every wheel is important in the machine. It was a wheel in the machine that got done in by counter synchronicities. I witnessed it. I lived it.
And so, and Bart, what's your tell us about? You said you're not dreaming.
Yeah, I'm not dreaming at all, and I would have thought I would after my mom passed away, last July. I thought I would have dreams of her like I did with my father after he passed.
Yeah.
Within 3 months, I was dreaming of having a conversation with my dad. And I haven't even had that, or haven't even had any dreams of like memories of my mom or things that we did.
Maybe I can explain that. Maybe it's
I
because
wish
she
somebody
passed over
would.
and she's with your dad, and that's where she wants to be.
Either that
Your
or
crazy
my theory is that there are certain blocks that are being thrown up on purpose. I
That
feel like
could be.
I feel like that's what's going on in my case with the people that I know.
Hey Matt, we've talked about this once, well, quite a few times. We think there might be like a minimum amount of time after they've passed before they actually start showing up. We don't know.
Well, now, okay. So let me tell an interesting story, and I'm going to go ahead and tell this publicly. Not many. I've only told a few close people this. The story of when my mom passed 2 years ago, because that kind of negates that theory out of the water. So the morning she died, I was dreaming. I had actually woken up and had to go to the bathroom and got back to sleep. I don't know. I was probably asleep about an hour, and I went into the dream sequence. And the only reason I know the time was because when my aunt called, that's when I noted the time. So I was dreaming, and my mom came to me in the dream, and she never really did support my paranormal stuff. She was a devout, non-denominational Christian who, tried her damnedest to get me back into the church before she passed, and never really approved of what I was doing with the paranormal world. So in the dream, she came to me. She was never really a woman to ever admit she was wrong. She just kind of came to me and looked at me, kind of gave me that shit-eating grin she does, and she's like, "Matt, I now understand why you're doing what you're doing and why you believe the way you believe."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Why? What changed?" And she just smiled, kind of giggled, turned around and faded away. And I woke up to a phone call, my aunt calling me, telling me my mom had just passed 5 minutes prior to that.
Oh, wow.
So I think what Ron's talking about is different than the goodbyes or the seeing you one last time. But I think what Ron's talking about is more the coming back to visit you.
Yeah, it seems like everyone we've talked to said it seems to take a little while.
Yeah.
And your mom was what, July? So that was
yeah. And see, the funny thing is, when Dad passed away in 1990, I had quit everything and was taking care of his company, taking care of him, going to school on top of that. And, I left the room to go up and see his oncology nurse, and he passed away while I was upstairs. And I was only gone maybe 10 minutes. And then I came back from Detroit back to Missouri, and within about 3 months, I had my dad visit me in my dream. And then with Mom, Mom, it was really weird. Mom was kind of talking out of her head. They thought she had a urinary tract infection, so they were going to do some tests on her. So when I got the call at about 6 a.m, and the nurse had said she had passed away in her sleep, I originally thought they were just calling to tell me the results of her test.
Right.
And I made it from my house to the nursing home. Normally it takes about 40 minutes. I made it up there in 18 and a half minutes from my house.
I've done warp speed before.
And that was passing cops and everything. And but it just surprised me because Mom was actually really into what I did with the paranormal. She actually went out on a couple of investigations with us with PRI, and she had a blast with everybody. And that's all she could talk about was, we'd go to family gatherings and stuff like that, and she'd just tell everybody she went ghost hunting.
Yeah.
So it just kind of surprised me that she hasn't made a presence yet to let me know that she's okay. Which, eventually it will happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I listening to that story, Bart, I'm picking up the fact that there's something that's trying. There's vital information that she needs to get to you that she can't.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's to tell me
for some reason you're not.
Well, hopefully it's to tell me where she hid the keys to my old 79 Beetle. Because that's vital. I need those keys.
So you still have the car?
Yeah, I still have the car. I just
you need the keys.
I gotta have the keys, and I don't want. I'm too cheap to go buy a new lock system.
Right.
So
well, eventually you may have to, because she may be that stubborn.
Oh man.
So we have some comments here I want to share with you guys.
Yeah, you got some comments on
so here Linda says that they're here a short time after they pass, then they go through a process of cleansing their energy, which can take a year. And then she also says, if you see them after a few months, they may have less cleansing to do, and not judging, but less issues to work through than they can if they visit you after 2 or 3 months. So
I think with my dad, though, taking care of him, we took care of a lot of stuff. We cleared the air between him and I, and then also the process of, it was really bad because my dad actually helped plan his funeral and all that stuff. We did that together. And so I think that's a good possibility. Dad and I, took care of business, whereas Mom and I had a lot of, business that wasn't taken care of.
You also have to take into consideration that, you might be, or that individual may need to sit down and reconsider and redo up their next life contract for the next time go around. And we don't know how long that takes. We don't know if there's any quote unquote paperwork to get through.
Yeah.
Susan says that her mom passed in November 2021 and she has never visited her.
Mhm.
April, my mom passed, or not April, Susan, my mom passed in November 2017. She hasn't visited.
Hey, my mom passed. She visited Denise.
Yeah, but my mom hasn't visited me, but I'm pretty sure that she's been with Judy, often, because Judy says she smells her and hears her, and maybe
Judy needs her 100% of the time.
And I don't feel like, I always was.
When you pass away, you're going to be with Leah. The other kids won't see you.
Well, I have
It's just the kids I spend the most time with.
well, I have a feeling that my mom was on her. So I have a feeling when she shows up, all hell's gonna break loose. She's gonna be pulling some kind of stunt on me. And and I'm just waiting to see what the heck she's gonna do. It's gonna be on me. I just know it.
Hope it's a good one.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. She'll either scare the hell out of me, or I'll start having dreams of Rubbermaid spatulas. My mom was only 5'2", not even pushing 100 pounds, and that woman would come out of nowhere when I was doing something wrong with a Rubbermaid spatula.
Oh yeah.
You know what that reminds me of? You remember Richard Pryor's skit where he'd talk about his mom in the shoe? He goes, it didn't matter where you were.
Yeah. Around the corner, outside.
And we saw
Richard
Pryor live at the movie theater in Blytheville, Arkansas.
Yeah.
To this day, I can't have Rubbermaid products in my house. I swear to God, I see that logo, and it puts the fear of my mom in me.
He has Rubbermaid.
Oh, we don't have no belts
PTSD.
in this house.
Oh man! Well, she went and bought one of those commercial spatulas that was like 3 foot long, and it wouldn't bend or nothing. And I honest to God, I had that Rubbermaid logo on my ass for one whole summer.
Yeah.
But
could have been the poster boy for the advertisement of Rubbermaid.
Yeah. What not to do?
Right.
My mom used a oak paddle, 3/4 inch thick, that had holes drilled in it, sanded and nicely finished, so that we didn't get splinters when she beat the shit out of us.
Yep. I was more scared of my mom than my dad. And my dad, all he had to say is, "You wait till your mom gets home." And like, oh crap! And
that was the other way around.
You guys make fun of your mom.
My dad, all he had to do is just look at it.
Stick her tongue out when she went to hit us. And after a while, we noticed it, and then we started going, You're going to get it when your dad gets home.
Something that I said last night, just so you guys all know.
All my dad had to know is, you pissed your mom off? Oh, hell no.
Yeah. Well, it kind of boiled down with my dad. One night when I was a little kid, we had bunk beds, and my little brother used to lay in bed and talk all night, and I was tired. Well, I grabbed this little stuffed rabbit that he had, and I hit him in the head with it, and it had one of those music boxes in it.
Oh, shit.
And it gashed him wide open. Well, wow. I jumped out, put my hand over his mouth to keep him quiet. Well, my dad happened to hear it. So he come up, he saw my brother, blood all over his face. He snatched us both out of bed. And he realized that Scott had to have surgery or stitches in.
Yeah.
And he said, "What did you do?" And I said, "Well, he was talking and he wouldn't shut up." Well, we're sitting in the bathroom. Dad went to smack at me to kind of put one on my backside. Well, I fell back and slipped on the rug and busted my head wide open on the toilet.
Oh,
damn.
So Dad had to drag us both to the hospital.
And explain.
And so where Mom worked was right across the street from the hospital. Well, when we went in, the nurse asked me what happened. I said, "Well, my dad smacked at me and made me fall down." Well, the doctor asked what Scott had done. He said, "Well, he hit me," and he was trying to point at me. He pointed at my dad, and next thing we know, the cops are there.
Yeah,
and they're all freaking out on my dad, and my dad's like, "I got to call my wife." So mom literally ran out of the restaurant across the street over to the ER to get things sorted out.
Man.
And then finally the cops realized what was going on, and everything was fine after that. But my dad, after that, he says, I will let your mom handle everything from now on. And then it was just all hell broke loose with mom. She went on a holy terror.
Oh,
She just thought she was just queen bee.
Uncaged
She
I'm
did all
buying
that.
more Rubbermaid, boys.
Yeah.
Uncaged beast.
Thank
But,
God it wasn't Tupperware. She wouldn't have been able to afford to hit you with it.
Right.
that stuff is expensive.
Oh yeah, it's even
Yeah,
worse.
but it lasted.
Yeah, I still got some of her Tupperware. So,
Yeah. Tupperware doesn't hurt as bad as
So-
Rubbermaid.
So, do you guys feel that this statement is true? That you deserved every spanking you ever got, but maybe not to the severity of which it was received?
yes.
Yeah.
I know I did. I mean, I was rotten.
Some of them I didn't deserve,
Sure.
But you probably deserved it for something.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say if you didn't deserve it that time, then that's the time that they didn't catch it. That's the time when they didn't catch you.
well, you look
Yeah,
at
kind
this
of
like
made up for
you're 7 years old or 8 years old. You're in a 68 Buick. Dad's under the hood working on it. And you're left-handed.
it. Mhm.
And he says, turn the ignition on. Well, you reach over with your left hand, you automatically turn it the wrong way. Right? And I said, it won't do nothing. He says, turn it harder. Snap.
Oh no.
Hero.
Dummy little me gets out of the car and walks up Dad with a broken key. Don't ever walk up to your dad under a hood
Mm.
with wrenches in his hand with a broken key.
Ouch.
Yeah. Because the next thing
Oh.
I know, I picked my ass up off the ground when that wrench hit me on top of the head.
Yeah.
Well, that was he shouldn't have done that.
Oh, I know. That's what Papa, because I went in the house. Mom came out and jumped all over him. He's in the driveway. Get this. Front door, back doors on the same side, 15 feet in front of the car. Mom says, go out the back door. Well, how am I going to do that? Dad's outside. I'll go out and talk to him. You go down the pasture to Papa's house. So Mom gets out there yelling at him. I opened the door up and shut that screen door just as quiet as I could and took off running. I get down there to Papa. I got blood down the whole side of my face and everything. He says, what happened? I said, Dad hit me. Puts me in the truck, drives up the driveway, and I'm going, okay, he's taking me up to the doctor uptown, Doc Carter, to get stitches put in. Right? That's my mindset. Oh,
No.
hell no. He pulls in the driveway. And
Take
I
you
went,
right
oh, he's taking me back to get me killed.
Oh
No.
God.
We got up there, pull up. He looks at me and says, you stay in the truck. Yeah. Dad got a real good lesson that day.
It's work.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's the type of childhood I had to grow up in. Being a middle child and being left-handed.
Ooh, middle child. Ooh,
Oh,
middle
yeah.
child.
Yeah, my dad used to, bail me out of stuff. When I would get in trouble, he would bail me out. But when I stole a beer truck when I was 13, and I drove that sucker right past the house, and
Drove
honked
it right by the house.
I drove right past the house, and I mean, I honked the horn because my dad was out in the front driveway, and I had 2 cop cars behind me. And I ended up ditching it like 4 blocks over and run from the cops, and they caught me. And my dad refused to bail me out on that one because when I
Yeah.
stole the beer truck, I ended up stealing a Schlitz, one of the Schlitz, or no, it was not Schlitz. It was
All staff.
it was a Schlitz truck because he was mad because it wasn't his brand of beer.
Right.
He used to drink Black Label. And he said, man, if you would have stole the Black Label truck, he says, I would have paid your bill to get you out. But ended up, Mom came to get me, and then that was the worst day of my life. My God, she whooped me in the car all the way home. And back then she was driving an old Torino. And I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and she's just reaching over, slugging me, beating my ass. I was like, Jesus Christ, Mom, just stop. And she's like, you wait till you get home. I was like, yeah, as soon as I get home, I'm taking off running. And that was the wrong thing to do because she caught up to me. That was
She can
back when
catch
Mom
you,
could
huh?
actually run. So, but yeah, my dad was
Man.
so disappointed in me stealing the wrong beer truck. God,
Man. Did you
Mm.
go back and get the right one?
no, but you know, my dad was something else. He was a prankster, kind of like me, but I think I just kind of took him and took it to the extreme. So
Yeah, Linda, you're right. They could whoop our butts and drive at the same time. I know because I've seen
Exactly.
it happen.
hmm yeah,
Well,
they
me
could,
and Ron, and Bart's probably
Then when
the
they,
best
and then when,
way
and then when
ever.
your parents pulled the car over, you knew you were really in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Well, if you remember riding in the cars that were made from 65 on back,
Yeah.
hmm
especially Chevy and
Yeah, we
Impala,
didn't have a new
they
car.
had
It was always
metal.
an old
They had
car.
metal plates on the back of the seats.
Yep.
yeah,
Your fun time was sitting up in the back window, and all the kids in the back seat yelling, "Dad, to hit the brake!" Whoever's in the back window flew
yep,
over the rest of them and hit those metal things and went to the
yep,
floor.
yep,
And then you climbed right back up in there and got in the window.
Yeah.
yep. Or the old
It's
station
amazing
wagons that had
it's
reverse
amazing any
seats.
of us made it out alive of childhood.
Yep.
Oh, it
I
is.
know. It's amazing.
Yep. Or the
I mean,
old station wagons that had the reverse seat looking out the back window.
yeah.
Yep.
Yes, my aunt had one of those.
Oh my God, those were fun trips.
Rode bikes 25, 30 miles a day without a helmet.
Yeah.
Crashed all the time.
All
Yep.
over the place.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Maybe that
Jumping
explains
ramps,
Maybe that explains our brain
jumping
damage.
creeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Back then, that was back when we used to go mess with the security guard over at the old Eloise sanitarium up there in Detroit.
Oh yeah.
And that was when they actually had more buildings up there. And old what's his name? Todd Bonner, I think his name is. That was running the tours up there. And I told him, I said, "Have you found the tunnels up there?" He's like, "Well, there's no tunnels." I was like, "Oh no, there's tunnels up in that place." And they ended up finding them. And they'd closed a bunch of them off, but they were still able to get down a few of them.
Huh.
Oh, I know. Things were so much different back in those days
Yeah.
that these kids nowadays would have no idea.
Mhm.
I just get up, especially in the summer, early in the morning. I just grab a couple neighbors and we just take off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gone all day.
Yep.
We run around the woods. There wasn't much around us.
Mhm.
We'd run around all day. We'd end up down by the river eventually.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And you knew when the streetlights came on, it was time to start heading home.
Well, yeah, but there's some nights we're having too much fun and we weighed the option. Well, keep having fun or get our butts whooped. So there were some nights we just said, well,
The fun outweighed it. Yeah.
it did.
Yep.
It did. It was like, okay, we're no, because I hear my dad honking the horn. And it's like, we'll get our
Worth
butt
it.
beat. It was worth it.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Well, growing up in the country and around farming and gas stations and dump trucks and everything, you was always in gas and diesel, or not diesel, but oil and everything, all the way up your arms,
Yeah.
everything all day
Mhm.
long and stuff. Nowadays, these kids, you get an oil drop on their finger. Oh, we got to go get this completely sanitized and get it completely off.
Yeah.
You
We build our
you
immunity system up.
Carl, I take it you just grew up around working on cars and that. Somebody goes, "How'd you learn to be a mechanic?" I'm like, I don't know. I've just done it.
It was it was growing up and natural.
You're just being around it and a bunch of people, neighbors, everybody's working on cars all the time because
Dad had a little gas station with an
pieces of
outside
junk.
hoist.
To be honest,
He was always underneath the hood.
yeah,
You learned real quick
Yeah.
what parts were on there.
yeah. You actually had to put a condenser in and points and actually set everything and timing lights, the whole thing. It's not like now you change the spark plug.
No,
and
you got to hook a computer system up to it to see what's wrong.
I miss
But that's how we
basically
learned.
I miss the days when, you go over to your friend's house and you've got a motor hanging from a tree and you're out there working on it.
Yep. Did that many a times.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
But
I mean, things are that way.
yeah.
But
Do you have any other questions in the room or no?
funny part is back in those days, I didn't even care about the paranormal or into
Yeah.
the paranormal. Later on in life, yeah, that was different. But back in, no. And we went into old houses and old buildings that were you shouldn't ever went into. But
Right.
going into them nowadays, I'd love to go back to them and investigate them.
Well, we went in there looking for ghosts.
Oh, we went out.
We were trying. It was the adrenaline rush back then of trying to get scared.
We went
Yeah.
out to an old farmhouse. It wasn't that old. It was a newer, I'll say mid-50s type house and everything. But the weeds were all grown up around it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we're 15, 16 years old, right? So we're going to go check it out and everything. And we kept an eye on the place. No cars, nothing driving in there. So we go in there. Front door was unlocked. We walk in, right? You talking about something creepy. The table still had the plates and the food on it that was petrified,
Yeah.
right?
I've heard of that.
Everything, the clothes in the closets.
Like they just up and left.
Yeah. In the garage, underneath the tarp was an Etzel, right? But what the funny part, we got up in the attic, and how they ever got this up there, I have no idea. They had a water trough, one of those galvanized water troughs up
Yeah.
in the attic because they had a leak in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When we're looking at this little hole and went, there ain't no way in hell they got that up there. They had to build around it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had it up there collecting water or what,
It could have been.
but all this here, then you go in the closet. This was the cool thing. The suits, the guys'
Bart.
suits that were in there, right? They were the old pinstripe with the wide lapels where you had the big hat like in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
This is what was in that closet.
Huh.
But the rest of the house, it looked like they just evaporated off the face of the earth.
Wow.
Yeah, that was one of the weirdest things I can remember seeing as a
You
teenager.
remember where the house is?
I know exactly where it's at.
Is it still there or what's left of it?
It should still be there.
Probably not much left.
I haven't been down that gravel road for a while. It's just right north of Kingston, about
Oh,
2
really?
miles. Yeah. Yeah, Gary could probably tell you who owned it.
So
Huh.
But yeah, stuff like that, the old schoolhouse there in Kingston and everything, all them old buildings. There, been in each and every one of them through the years, even when they were a business. One I wish we could get into, but it's ready to collapse, is the old funeral home
oh man, that'd be fun.
there at Kingston. Yeah. But Ron's been in our courthouse up there where we investigated
Oh, yeah.
and stuff that was built in 1898.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Too bad we can't get in there anymore.
No, we can't get in there anymore. A lady it's still an operational courthouse.
Right.
A lady was walking down the stairs and tripped and fell and broke her leg and arm.
Oh,
So then the commissioners put a halt to our paranormal investigations in there. They
yeah.
didn't want nobody else getting hurt because they was getting sued by that lady.
Oh man.
So, but
One
yeah,
bad for the whole bunch.
Yeah.
it did. We had Ron and Denise been up there a couple of times, and I mean, there's some activity in there.
Mhm.
And all the people in the courthouse will tell you
Yeah.
there's activity in there.
This
They hear
hospital,
'em whistling and singing.
this hospital I'm at here now, I don't know if y'all can see or not. I'll flip it around so y'all can see.
Uh-huh.
This hospital I'm at here is the county hospital here in town for Des Moines. It's
Right.
Broadlawns, and it used to be an old children's tuberculosis hospital.
I know exactly
Ooh.
which one you're talking about.
Do you?
Yes, I actually lived in West Des Moines for about 2 years. That's when I had my accident in '96, and they had me over at Wank Children's Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You know,
Yeah.
my wife works here at Broadlawns.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say
nice.
your wife works there, doesn't she?
Yep. She reads the
Oh,
heart telemetry up there on med surge.
oh wow. Yeah. Matter of fact, my orthopedic surgeon is based out there at oh, what do you call it? What is Blank Children's Hospital? What there's another
That's
one. I think
Methodist.
Methodist. Yeah. Dr. Gerke
Well,
is one.
it's all Unity Point now, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey,
I've
Bart,
actually
you know
got-
where that old hospital is down in Kansas City at 30th and Main?
The old St. Mary's?
I believe that's what it is. The one that was turning into apartments.
Yeah, I think that was St. Mary's.
Yeah, but I've been down there and investigated that twice.
Oh man.
My
Yeah,
wife
that-
actually has a photograph from here with a full body apparition standing in someone's room.
Oh,
They
wow.
sent security and nurses down there to check it out, and there was nobody in the room. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
So-
and full body apparition.
and
So
Gary-
down there by the Capitol, I want to say it was Southeast 6th Street, I think it was. Used to be an old club down there called Crowbar.
I know exactly where you're talking about.
I actually worked in there when it was the Love Shack,
Okay.
and I worked for the Farrell brothers at the time. And yeah, I loved Des Moines. My God, that was a great city.
Not many people realize this, but this hospital actually sits on Indian burial grounds.
Mm.
Oh,
Almost
really?
everything
Yep.
does anymore. I
Right. Well, that's the reason they
Native
can't build any
American
further back towards the river is because of the burial site.
So when they were digging it, digging the ground up,
That's where his
found
wife works.
right. Did they find bones and stuff when they were digging it up? And
Bones, arrowheads, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's when they stopped construction going any further north, and now they're just doing it up and out here in the parking lot. Like they took down the old dentist center that used to sit in the middle of the parking lot. They tore that down, made new space. They've been just kind of work space they've got.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal, Uncle Harvey's wife, isn't that Aunt Lucy? Because I can only think of only one Uncle Harvey. So Crystal and April in the chat room are my cousins.
Right on.
Everybody knows that April is, but
right.
Crystal's not. Crystal's the only one. Well, Carl's met both of them, but
Yes.
met Crystal in person.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I'm still waiting for her to get me in to investigate this place because up on the third floor of the original part of the building, it's just offices and administrative offices up there now. There's no patients up there, so that's where I want to get up and investigate.
What floor was it? Your wife saw the shadow?
That was just up on Med Surge, the regular medical surgical floor that everybody goes to.
Huh.
Down C Hall.
Now, how many people saw it?
At least 2 or 3 on the monitor. Then she took a picture of it on the monitor.
Oh, they
Oh,
saw
it
it
was
on the monitor.
Yeah, it was in a room that was a video monitoring room.
Oh,
They
wow.
had some patients under video monitoring.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a video monitor room, and they happened to capture it on video.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be awesome to see.
I've got the still picture. I'll have to send it over to you, Bart.
Okay, cool.
I sent a copy to Rex too. He's had a buddy of his put it through one of those 3D generators, and from what they can tell so far, it actually has mass.
Oh wow. When I worked at that club, it used to be an old train station. And I used to get the willies when I'd have to close up the bar late at night all by
That's right over there.
myself.
That's right over there by where Hessen House is.
I think so, yeah. I think it's an architectural firm now.
Yes, it is.
And because my friend Lisa my friend Carrie and I were up there because we were up there doing a class with Central Iowa Ghost Society back then. And we were teaching an audio class to those guys. And just having to drive through my old neighborhood, and it's like, oh, I used to work here, and showed her where I had my accident at, and we hit West Des Moines and had to stop at Made Right and get sandwiches and stuff like that.
Of course.
Yeah.
So what's
I
the
need to go
oldest
there.
building up there in Des Moines?
Oh, that's going to be in the Sherman Hills area, over there by where Methodist is, actually.
Yeah.
There's a building over there that has over a 100-year-old elevator in it.
Mhm.
Many
Now-
people know this, but Des Moines actually was settled in the early 1700s.
Mhm.
Well, they found artifacts in the Des Moines area dating back to the 1700s. I'm sorry.
My great grandmother got killed after the Trail of Tears near Des Moines
Oh
by
man.
a pack of wolves. She's a
Yeah, the
Native
Trail of Tears.
American, and
I believe it skirts just north of town between Des Moines and Ankeny.
so. Yeah, she
Now-
got killed, and the people around ignored her cries and the kids' need for help when she died because she was Native American.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, no,
my great grandfather moved back to Virginia and denounced our Indian heritage at that point.
that's sad.
Hey Matt,
Yo,
quick question for you. Do you know anything about the tunnels that run from the governor's house over to the Capitol?
there's rumors about that, and there's also rumors that there's Masonic tunnels that run all around through town, and there's entrances around town. One of them being the Hubble Mausoleum there, and
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of that graveyard. You know what I'm talking about, though, over there by MLK.
Yes.
Heard that too before.
Yeah, there's those tunnels there too.
Yeah, that'd be
So
kind of interesting to find somebody that knows how to access those.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, that'd be kind of a fun thing to investigate. So
It would be. There's rumors that there's tunnels running around all over Des Moines.
yeah, but that was a huge.
The Masonic the Masonic temple's right there downtown on Scott
Mhm.
Street.
Yeah, and that was back then. That was a big hangout for Al Capone too at one time.
Well, we actually got a chance to investigate. Okay, so this was cool. I don't know. I can't remember her name at the moment. I said Christy. Sorry. She part owner of the Stevenson building down there in Nebraska, over there in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Wymore, Nebraska.
Mhm.
And that building that she owns actually had a casino in its basement where Al Capone was. And
my.
came and visited quite frequently. Matter of fact, you can still see there's poker chips down there in the dirt floor.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
You ever get a chance to go there? Go, Christy. God, I'm trying to remember her last name. She's I feel so bad because we're buddies. She was out to the school a lot. I just can't think of her last name right now. She runs a production company, but it's the Stevenson building. You ever get a chance to go check it out? It's an amazing place.
Okay.
April and Crystal, we also had, Uncle Berman got married and his wife, Aunt Cindy, she's passed. Uncle Berman's passed. So when you're thinking about this stuff and you're saying aunts, technically Aunt Cindy is your aunt. My mom is your aunt. So you just don't know if it's those that are related to you on our side that might be bothering you. If my mom's bothering you, better tell me, because I'm gonna come up there and get pissed at her for not coming to see me. So
Well, I'm gonna go try and pop in the house here real quick. So if I lose you, I'll jump back on.
okay. It'd be nice to see you instead of the spirit of you.
Yeah, there we go.
Shadow.
Now, Matt, you've been up there to the Farrar School several times, right?
Many times. I love that place.
What kind of history is up there?
I don't know if it's all about so much the history of that place. There's something about schools in general. I don't know if it's all the energy. See, me and my team have been, we've I don't know, you can ask Denise. We've had a lot of interactions with schools, a lot. I mean, from everything from running one to for a year.
to investigating. We're the only team in Iowa to ever investigate the Lorimore schoolhouse that got turned into apartments down there outside of Winterset, Iowa.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think especially with the schoolhouses here in Iowa anyway, when they were consolidating from the one-room schoolhouses into the major metropolitan areas, they built these what I call consolidation schools. And they all look alike. They're all 3 stories. They're all big and they're all square, like Farrar, like Manila was. They all look the same. They're all built around the early 1900s.
Right.
And they were all back in that day. You had, your grade school through 9th before you went to high school. So you had all of the energies of them becoming the people who they're going to become. Then you've got prepubescent, then you've got pubescent. All that energy has to imprint somewhere and do something because energy can't be destroyed. That's why we particularly think that schools are active, because of all the energy that all those kids are putting off on a daily basis.
Exactly.
Half of the year.
And do you also think that, okay, those kids that grew up and passed away, they had good times at that school. They come back because
They
of
might.
their experiences in that school with friendships and friends.
They might. It also, I know our school in particular, it was just a spiritual highway. It had a vortex going through it for whatever reason. And because of that, there was one night we had shadow figures. We had just about any kind of entity you could think of and name doing a roll call one night. We were asking who all was here, our shadow figures here. Yes, yada, yada, yada. We went just right down the list and everybody responded with a fucking yes.
Wow.
It was that, and that we've had really cool interactions. So Short Bus Paranormal, big shout out to Sue and see, I'm having name farts with people's names. Nick and Sue, thank you.
Yes, and
they were doing.
Last night I had on Chuck Banks.
Nice. I just talked to him the other day. So they were doing an investigation of the Klondike Hotel, which is just down the road from the schoolhouse there in Manila, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to see if we stuff. So, man, I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay.
Nick was like, well, why don't we come up with a word and see if we can get it to be said at both locations. So we come up with the word zucchini. It's a 3-syllable word, not one that would normally come over ITC. Very
Right.
deliberate, yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, okay, cool. We'll do that. I go back up to the school. I start my ITC session. Not more than 5 minutes into it, guys. Zucchini comes clear as day through it. Each individual's just deliberate as hell. So I call Nick. I'm like, dude, you're not going to believe this shit, but this just happened. And in the middle of the phone call, we got disconnected. Well, in the time it took for me to get him back on the line, he's calling me. He's like, dude, you're never going to believe this, but we just got zucchini. I'm like, really? I was just calling to tell you the same fucking thing. So we're like, okay, that's kind of cool. So then we're like, let's take this one step further and see if we can get somebody to get touched. And so we came up with the plan of them deciding who to ask down there out of complete earshot of us. We had no idea. I left. There was no way I could have known who they asked to touch. I would say about an hour and a half later, we were getting ready to go to bed. We didn't, nothing was happening. So we were gonna crash out for the night. And all of a sudden, Paul gets lightly touched right between his shoulder blades on his back. And so the next morning, I noted it down and we all went to bed. And I got up the next morning and I talked to Nick. I'm like, so, did you guys get anything after that? And he's like, yeah, right around 11:15. I'm like, that's funny because around 11:10, Paul got touched. He's like, that's funny because at 11:15, we did it come across the ITC. So it went up, did it, and then came back and told them it did so.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do that sometime.
The interactions between those two, well, you really can't do it now because the school's gone, but
Well,
I suppose you could do that with any
You can do
location.
it. Two different locations. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
It
sometimes
would be interesting to see how far of a distance you could get that, if you could get it like across the country.
that would be interesting.
I think Ghost Adventures did try something like that once with Bobby Mackey's in another location.
Bobby
Yeah,
Mackey's and
California,
with
the Weird House, Winchester House.
yeah, that was
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
and
So
they
yeah, no, it's a
had-
very real thing. I mean, if you stop and think about it, there is really no time doesn't exist for spirit like it does for us. Time is a three-dimensional concept.
No, they can go zip, zip, zip
Yeah.
just as fast as they want
Yeah.
to.
I think people would honestly be alarmed to know how much spirit is around them on a daily basis, every minute of every day.
I don't think that people could handle that if they knew.
I don't think they could either. It's one of those things where it's like the Men in Black said, they don't, what they don't know won't hurt them.
Yeah. Or
Right.
or as they say in the other movie, they can't handle the truth. Which was spontaneous, by the way. But
Well, you just stop and think if you had 50% of the Americans in the continental 48 states, right, that believed in ghosts and seen them on a daily basis, they couldn't handle it.
we wouldn't get anything done
No.
because we'd be too busy checking out everything that's going on.
But it seems like more and more and more and more people are having experiences. I don't know, like what
What
You know,
about you?
I wonder with the people that are having more experiences and stuff like that, or people that are, just starting to have experiences, happens to be, correlates with what's going on in the world today.
I think so. And we were just talking about that earlier in the show, Bart. The fact that, it seems like a lot of people, a lot of the calls that I seem to be getting for consults are people saying, well, this and this and this and this is happening and it's never happened before, what's going on, and it's almost like I was telling Denise earlier that, it's almost like with all the reverse synchronicities that are going on, it's almost like the energy workers are being that switch is being flipped on a global scale.
Yeah, I wonder, what's your thoughts? Do you think it might be the negative energy that's, coming out today, or that's, making that happen?
I think it's a very orchestrated balance between the two. There's reverse synchronicities going on. There's at the same time as the synchronicities. It's a big fucking chess game. And one side moves and the other has to react.
Yeah.
And I think that's the phase we're in right now, is the other side reacting to what us as energy workers are trying to do to better the universe.
Okay.
If that makes any kind of sense.
It does. It kind of falls in the way of you look at how many people in the last 2 years are more depressed than there's ever been before.
See that kind of
evil knows when you're depressed, they got more control to get into you.
It almost seems like COVID was a multifaceted tool to be used by the reverse side in this 3D construct world. It was, stop and think about it. And it could even be, if you really want to, because I've spent a lot of time thinking about this, it almost seems like a karmic thing, almost like I would almost say we're in the middle of a worldwide learning curve as a human species. And it's almost like the parent giving the kid too much rope to hang themselves when they know the kid is fibbing. We've done past that point. We've done past the point of fessing up now. Now we've got to pay the piper, and now we've got to be able to line all of our ducks up in a row so we can handle what's coming, because that easy road was about 10 miles back.
Yeah.
So now we have to deal with the here and now, and it's what it is.
Yeah.
You did
Well,
some
I just saw the comment about the satanic performance at the Grammys.
Right. That's
That
what they
was-
do.
Yeah, that was.
But
That's
Yeah,
pretty
that was
freaky.
It's
weird.
probably the same thing at the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now that's it. Now that's funny that you bring that up, Bart, because I was just talking to T the other day, one of the gals that's been dream sharing that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a gal at work the other day talking to her about the difference between devil worshiping and what was it? No, supernatural and paranormal. And there is a big difference. And that led into then Satanism and Luciferianism and how evil and demonic it is.
Yeah.
Well, let's just stop and take a look at this for a second. People that have done their homework and have actually researched Luciferianism and Satanism realize that it's not a demonic thing. It's their take is that Satan stood up to God because he felt God was inflicting the curse of free will upon man.
Mm-hmm.
As one of the original jinns, he knew what it was to have free will, didn't believe that it should be thrust upon man like it was, and so he stood up against God. And so, according to Luciferians, devil's the savior. He tried to save humans against being inflicted upon. It's all how you view things. It's a matter of perception. And just because something is personified as something doesn't make it as such.
Yeah. Okay.
Not that I'm saying I'm not saying I'm a Luciferian. I'm just saying I've known several people who have been, and I've had extensive talks and have done some research into their beliefs structures. And it's not as demonic and evil as people seem to think it is.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. I want free will. I want to make my own decisions. I don't want my decisions made for me by anybody. And
I get that, but at the same time, you have to
that it's free will. Even if I just believe that it's free will and I'm making my own decisions, I want it that way. I don't want to believe that somebody else has got power over that.
Okay, see, how do you? This is a question that I've struggled with for many years. How do you then determine what ratio or how does free will then intertwine and work with fate? Because we know there's both. We obviously have free will, but we obviously know that some things are just meant to be and work out the way they're supposed to work out. So those two kind of contradict each other. How do they work together?
Even with faith, you still have your own decisions to make in the process.
You do, and I was later shown through a dream that all it is it just the free will and choices we have. Think of it like an infinite train yard. That's what I was shown. And with this train yard, you've got these little switches every foot or so. Those switches are your decision and free will. They decide what eventuality you happen to be on at any given moment. The tracks pretty much look all the same. There's the tracks that are similar. I'm sorry. This is where I'm starting to stumble over my words. I'm sorry. The tracks that are closest together to the center, the differences are minutely subtle. As you get further away from the center, the changes are different. The eventualities are much different, because if you think of the string theory, every choice has to play out. Infinite universes and the like. So at any given moment, we are on whatever eventuality our free will has dictated we be on by our choices that we make. And it's been kind of crazy here. Just the other day, I almost got into an accident, and I actually saw the split. I saw the car accident happen. Just in my mind's eye, in a brief second, I saw that reality split, and where I didn't avoid the accident, where I actually crashed. Because all eventualities have to be possible with the string theory and the many worlds theory. So just crazy stuff. I mean, I've talked to people that have seen people appear and disappear. We were on our way up to a concert a couple months ago, and a motorcyclist just vanished off the road. Kelly's doing some weird stuff. Cops just disappearing out of nowhere. People seeing things. I think with them doing all the quantum mechanics and the quantum computing and the CERN stuff that they're doing over in Switzerland with that accelerator.
Yes,
they're making irreparable damage to our quantum barriers and in the quantum realm, and we're starting to see that bleed over now throughout the different eventualities.
So our space-time continuum has been messed
I
up.
hadn't heard any of that.
Well,
Maybe I need to get on Facebook.
it's not on.
Oh,
Facebook.
that no, July 4th of last year, they fired CERN up, and they just didn't fire it up. They fired it up full blast.
Yeah.
And if you all remember, last July was extremely wonky.
I don't remember.
The weather was crazy.
Weather was crazy.
Everything.
I had a whole bunch of people calling me. That July was a crazy month. Everybody was calling just all out of sorts, it was nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. July as a whole was a weird month.
And that's why, because they fired that accelerator up on the 4th, and they fired it up full blast after it being down for like 8 months.
Yeah.
We must have weird months every month. We can't tell one from the other anymore.
Well, you look at the weird weather we've been having, especially down south.
I'm still trying to figure out why anyone would watch the Grammy Awards. I don't. That just I don't get it. Why would you watch that crap?
Well, they weren't handing me a paycheck, so I wasn't working it, and so I wasn't having nothing to do with it.
You
And I
couldn't
won't
pay me
watch
$100,000 to watch that crap. I'm serious.
it. Yeah.
If you had to force me to watch, I couldn't do it.
I paid me $100,000. I could sit
I
down and
couldn't
watch.
name one actor or actress anyway, but
Music.
oh,
I was gonna say that's music. See, that's how much he knows about it.
it's all the same.
I mean, it's for the
Bunch of crappy musicians that do synthesized crap. Big deal. I'm a musician.
Yeah.
That's what they got. That's garbage. So
I just want to put out. Oh, go ahead.
I think I got out of the industry at the right time.
yeah.
Because I can honestly say I worked with all the best artists I could ever
You did.
want to work with.
Right.
I've worked with from James Brown, B.B. King, and all the greats. Peter Frampton, and now today's music just does not impress me.
Did you know Peter Frampton's going on tour again?
Is he really?
Yep, and he's got a new album coming out.
Craig Morgan?
No, Peter Frampton.
Peter Frampton, yeah, and he can't play anymore. So
No.
all that was done before he really started getting sick.
Yeah,
And,
he said this was going to be basically his farewell.
yeah.
I thought he was dead.
No.
I thought he died a couple years ago.
He doesn't. He
Well,
have
that's something else. The Mandela effect.
that is something else.
I firmly believe that that's also a byproduct of them doing quantum computing and messing around with that damn accelerator.
Well, could be changing our perceptions of stuff because our future got changed at a random time. A friend of mine was talking about that, about how she can make herself go back in time to a time that she got hurt, whether it was physically or otherwise. And she says, I can put myself in that situation and heal myself from that pain. And
Who's this?
it's Nakona.
Oh.
But it was weird how she said, I put myself in that situation and I saw myself in the future, in the past. And she said, I felt better when, after that, she goes, I felt like I'd healed from that situation. She goes, and I always thought that the reason I felt healed from that situation was the person who was with me did it. She goes, but then when I opened my eyes, she goes, it was me healing myself.
Yep.
And I'm going to have her on after I get a little time to research. I mean, some of the things that she said blew me away because I never thought of it that way.
We were getting, the school was crazy with the energies. We would get responses from people who were still alive.
They tore that school down, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah, I thought they did.
About 3 years ago. Yeah, no, Carl, I saw your reaction there.
You get responses from people that's still alive over ITC.
Still alive. Yes.
Now, how would that play in?
I don't know.
Are they doing it telepathically or what?
It was somebody that went to school there that's still alive. So I'm thinking it has to do with the imprinted energies.
That's what I was going to say. It was an
It
imprint.
would have to.
What did they say? Could you understand what they said? Or you just recognize a voice or what?
It had to do with one of the people in town that had been not doing some not nice things with children.
Oh.
And yeah, it was one of those things. And so that's how we pretty much determined on who it was, because there was only a couple people like that in town.
So,
So that combined with being a small town, we kind of pretty much just narrowed it down. But yeah, no, we've gotten live, and that wasn't the only time that ever happened either. I mean, there were certain people that were in there who shall not be named that were getting responses from people that were alive too, but that was a whole different situation. But the fact of the matter was, it's almost like time worked the way it does for spirit in that building. Because it's past, present, and future. It's like it all existed at once.
Okay.
In there.
When you got those responses from the living, right?
Right.
Were they saying stuff that happened years ago or present?
Both.
Oh.
Both.
I was saying, if they said years ago, that would be
that might be an imprint. That might just be that might not be an intelligent that imprinted energy reacting. No, we thought of that too, and no, we were getting relevant shit from the current time too.
So a traumatic event, living or dead people can leave an imprint on the situation, or actually be intelligent if their message hasn't been fully heard. Maybe
that, or maybe that person happens to be more in tune with the spirit realm. You know, I've had colleagues reach through and speak to me through ITC devices in that school before.
Huh?
Were they warnings or were they?
They were warnings. They were warnings. That school was crazy.
So the school is leveled now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you went
to the
level ground and tried anything?
No, I haven't been back up there since. I really want to get so I need to get back up to the Klondike because there's some stuff I need to deal with up there that came down from the school.
I'd be curious if you just pick something up off the property there.
Well, here's the thing though. You don't necessarily have to go to the property now because there's a local team there still in town that has gotten reports from everybody that lives there. Doesn't matter if it's a business or resident. Every single building in that town that's occupied has had activity in it now.
Huh.
Ever since they tore down the school, which is exactly what I told them would happen.
Right.
I told them that they tear down that school for whatever reason. It's a physical anchor point to the spirit
saying there. Not to do it. I didn't know if they went ahead and did it.
Oh yeah, they went ahead and did it. Matter of fact, I had a dream the night that I had a dream one night that they were knocking down the east gym over there where all the crawlers lived and hung out. And I could see them as they were tearing down the gym in my dream, the crawlers just scattering into town like cockroaches and finding places and houses to reside. And sure as shit, I woke up and then it was later that day or the next day I saw on Facebook where they were in fact tearing the old gym down.
You know,
very same time I was having a dream.
When you said roaches and crawlers, it made me think of imps that were in the Sally house.
Yep.
And they are devil's minions.
These were harmless. They just kind of crawled about their business. You could just sit up there on the stage in the East Gym and just kind of watch them scurry. They'd interact with you every once in a while, but they were pretty harmless.
These were pretty much harmless, except for the fact that they drained your energy. You'd show up and they'd be skinny, and by the time you left, they had drained your energy and got fat.
That's funny you say that too, because we actually got a chance to go down and investigate Old South Pittsburgh Hospital one time.
Same thing
with South Fox Valley Paranormal. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you've all been down there. Y'all been down there?
No, we want to.
So if you go up onto the third floor, which used to be the drug rehab wing,
yeah,
there is something up there that's very territorial. It's a crawler.
And we were all the way in the back room doing an ITC session. And all of a sudden, I could hear the pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter of bare feet on linoleum. Only it wasn't a quadruped. Only it wasn't a biped. It was a quadruped.
Mhm.
I looked out, and sure enough, here's this thing going from room to room across the hall. And every time it'd come out of a room, it'd have a different lump on it somewhere.
Did you guys go down there when Ronnie D owned the place, or the person before?
No, the person that had taken it over and turned it into a paranormal learning center. The staff was amazing down there.
Then
Yeah.
that's Ronnie D.
That's Ronnie then.
Yeah, no, that's what I wanted to do with the school. What they're doing with that hospital is what I wanted to do with the school and turn it into a on-site paranormal learning center with volunteers on site for people to help and stuff like that. That's what we wanted to do with the school, but we just didn't get it done.
Gavin Kelly and Paula went there before when the other owner owned it, and he said that it was so horrible. The fungus and stuff on the walls was like 3 feet thick. And he said, I wouldn't go there for nothing. And I guess, and Ronnie did a great job of getting that place cleaned up.
That place is looking absolutely, when we went down there a few years ago, it's looking absolutely wonderful. I mean, yeah, it's an old building, you could tell, but you could tell that it's now receiving care and love.
It's safe now.
I actually have somebody who's a volunteer there coming on my show on the 8th, Greg T. Justice. He's actually from Pikeville, Kentucky, where my mom lives. Yep. Greg TJ Justice. Sorry. He's going to be coming on, and he's a volunteer there. So I think it's going to be great talking to him.
Sounds like a name on Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, well, you know.
It does, doesn't it?
So, and
You for T's kid.
Yeah.
I'll go get you.
he probably has heard that a lot, especially there.
Hey, Bart, I think your dog likes you.
Yeah, she's, actually, my sugar's kind of high today, so she's alerting.
Well,
So
she is a good friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's like, Dad, you need to take your insulin. It's like, I'll get to it. I'm good.
Well, don't wait around.
Well, it was
Oh,
sure
no,
nice to meet you, Carl, and it was good to see you again, Bart. I'm going to probably have to cruise here in the next couple of minutes.
Give me a second here. Can you tell everybody where they can find you, Matt?
Well, we're not really doing much at the moment, but when we start doing stuff again, it's going to be on Facebook, Des Moines Paranormal Activity Research Team. That's pretty much about the only place we have that's up and running at the moment. Our website is still 10 years, and it's taken us to get this damn website up, but one of these days we'll get it up.
Well, you know, things happen the way they're meant to. We talked about that
Exactly.
already. So, you know, thank you so much for coming on. I think everybody really enjoyed hearing your point of view on a lot of different subjects in a really short amount of time.
We always enjoy coming on, hon. We love you guys, and good to see Bart again. Nice to meet you, Carl, and
Nice to meet you.
And anytime you want to come on and you want to talk, just let us know. We've always got
you're welcome
room
here
for you.
anytime, Matt.
Yeah, let us know when you're doing something.
Yeah, no, we will. I'm actually looking at a property here in town. Actually, and Denise already knows what I'm talking about. That's right here on the. You might know where it is, Bart.
What's that?
You know where the East Euclid exit is?
Yes.
Okay, so the signage for it that's about a quarter mile before that.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a retaining wall that's to the right hand side as you're going north.
Okay.
That big tall gray house that's on the other side of the retaining wall, right by the sign.
Oh, no way. Dude.
I'm looking at that house.
Oh, that would be awesome.
You know, the one that's had a light on it for 30 years and been boarded up?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking at that one now, and we're trying to track down the owner on it, and that's a damn nightmare. I don't even think the owner's alive anymore. I think what's happened is
either,
30 years it's been abandoned?
Yeah, we found out that it was actually a prototype house for a failed subdevelopment.
Right.
And I found the owner's name, and I found the phone number.
And I've been trying to contact him. Nobody's been answering. So what I've been thinking has happened either is somebody has inherited a house who didn't realize that they've inherited a house, or it's went back to the city or state, one of the two.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to get a hold of the auditor's office and find out how to get a hold of this thing.
Hey, are the abandoned hotels still over there by the river and the lake and all that stuff downtown?
You mean the Holiday Inn? No, they
flooded out.
Nope, they tore those. They tore those. I used to work security in those actually right after it happened.
Okay.
And yeah, no, they tore those down. That's all. They made that into like a canoe park area now for Gray's Lake.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
God, that would have been a cool place to go in and just, urban
Like
exploring.
I said, I worked
Yeah,
security
stayed
there.
there.
That place was creepy. I had some
Yeah, I
experience.
think I
there.
stayed there. I used to have to go to Des Moines a lot.
Yeah. See, I
Yeah.
moved over off of Southeast 14th and Watrous.
But my mom lived over there. She on those apartments right
Yeah.
over there by where the subway is.
Yeah, I was actually in the house right behind Maid Right. That used to
Okay.
be there across from Come and Go.
Yep.
So, God, yeah. But
All right,
boy,
guys. Well, it's been a pleasure. If you guys want me to come back on in the near future, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to come and chew the fat with you guys. Love it.
Oh,
be
yeah.
great,
No
Matt.
problem.
I'll keep you in mind when I'm looking for people, and maybe I'll mix you into some kind of panel discussion or something that we'll do.
Hey, I'd be down for that.
Okay.
sounds
You
like
have a
fun.
great
Awesome,
night.
guys.
Thank you so much.
See you, Matt.
All right,
Everybody have a
Thank
good
you.
night. Be safe, guys.
All right,
Bye.
you too.
Hey, Crystal, you're talking about you wonder if there's any place around there that's haunted. You got the Lumber Baron Inn that's not too far. You've got all kinds of
She's in
places
Denver.
in downtown Denver that's haunted. The Molly
Oh, that
Brown
one area,
House.
that whole area right
Yeah,
there.
Capitol
Yeah.
Hill area.
All kinds
So
of
many
stuff.
places down there. I have a book about this thick, and I
Or
wish I
they're
was kidding.
The tour with
They're not doing the
no,
tour
they're not
anymore.
doing that no
No,
more?
they're not doing the Capitol Hill historic haunted tours
that's no
anymore. Because
When they quit that?
when Christopher Moon's dad had a heart attack,
Oh,
he stopped doing them. So
right.
yeah, that's been a while since I did that.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I got a whole list of places down there. The Croak Patterson house. Check that place out. Can't stay there. It's $300 a night, but it's it's beautiful.
Oh, wow.
So
That's wow. Yeah. Yeah, Bart, since Bart got out of the industry, Bart is now on a budget.
yeah, I bet.
It's kind of, kind of interesting now I'm actually having to kind of save money instead of constantly spending stuff. So
you retired from your job.
yes, I actually retired from the concert industry in December. And now I'm still going to do a few shows out at Sandstone or Missouri Amphitheater or whatever they want to call it these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll still do a few shows out there. But I'm taking a part-time job as a delivery driver for an auto parts company just to get me out of the house. And I like it, but it's not what I'm used to. It's a whole new learning curve. I've actually have to get up at a set time every day, trying to make that transition.
Well, yeah. I
Interesting.
mean, the job that you had before was exciting. The only thing exciting here is road rage.
Yeah, and
figuring out which areas you don't want to stop at the red light at.
yeah. Well, see, I'm kind of like in a suburb of Kansas City, so I'm not too worried about it. And I can out myself. I carry all the time, so I'm not too worried.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we used to live in Kansas City, Missouri, so we know where it's safe and where it's not, and
Yeah,
all that.
Kansas City isn't anywhere near as bad as back home in Detroit, but I enjoy it. The people I work with are actually really cool. I don't have to deal with egos from artists anymore.
Oh, you don't have to come up with the green M&Ms anymore?
Yeah, well, thank God that wasn't my part of it, but I don't have to deal with the unruly crew members, and I don't have to worry about my guys getting hurt, stuff like that. And
But you don't get to see boobs all the time now.
and that's funny is the last probably 10 years I probably haven't seen a pair of boobs unless I was dating the girl. So
That doesn't even happen for me.
Yeah, I'm back. I was backstage most of the time, so I didn't get to
I
really
have to go to a
stand with that.
concert to see him. Close
Yeah.
I can get.
I just, I just got bored, and it's like I got to have something to do. So
Right.
I took a part-time job, but and then she keeps me busy, as you can tell.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Good Lord. But
Man.
but other than that, it's fun.
Where can everybody find you?
Well, let's see. Right now, I'm using my backup of my backup account. You can either. I don't think they've even released my main account at Bart Towler yet, and that's been almost
a 2 year.
At least 2 years.
What days are you working?
I'm actually working Monday through Friday, and then
Okay.
I like a half day on Friday in case I happen to have a show, because I'll still go mix sound for friends bands, or I'll get the occasional call to go do one of the larger shows.
So I get
like,
Bart to come up when we go check out that house up there by you, Carl. See if Bart will want to come up.
Yeah,
that would
be
fun.
Great.
Probably be on.
Oh yeah.
So that's why
Got a gigantic
Okay.
house up here that I got access to. That
Yeah, that'd be fun.
there's
and
something in there. I don't know what, but something.
And I need to get with Carl out at the mausoleum. The last couple of years with COVID hitting, it was just really hard to really do anything out at the mausoleum. So I just kind of took a break from it. And I was so busy doing, electrical calls that helped me get through COVID. I didn't have a day off during that whole COVID thing. So now, shows were starting to pick up. Everybody went back to work, and I just finally was like, I've got to get out. And so I just kind of let it go. And, but now I get so bored. I've already built enough stuff, when I transitioned into the RV living, I got everything fixed the way I wanted to. Now it's like I'm running out of projects. I had to find a part-time job just to keep me out of trouble.
Right.
So, but you can actually find me either at the one that's in 60. I'm in a 60-day ban right now on my Bernard Weekend account. I got back-to-back Facebook jail sentences on that one. Or you can find me at Harry Balzac is the one I'm using now. And we'll see how long this one lasts.
Yeah.
But everybody, everybody follows me to either one. I give them the heads up, because when they suspend you, if you have the messaging app on your phone and stuff, it's totally separate from Facebook. So I can still message everybody and say, hey, heads up, you're going to get a friend's request from this account and stuff. So I've been able to do that. But I just can't comment or like anything on my Bernard Weekend one. So, but yeah, that's where you can find me, and send me a friend's request, and don't hold whatever I post against me, or don't report me. That's it.
I never report you, because I don't care. I don't get offended. So
I don't.
Well,
So what we got coming up, Denise?
So what do we have coming up? We have next Monday at 7 p.m. Central on the Paranormal Pride. We have Vanessa Hogle coming on. She's a medium. She is the effing medium. So if you might want to make sure the kids aren't listening, just in case.
Get your beeper working.
Beep, 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 beep. Well, and
might sound like MTV, but
she's also an author and she works in a children's dentist office, so she's perfect.
I know.
Oh, no wonder she uses the F-bomb all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love Vanessa. Her and I have been close ever since day one. And next Tuesday on Valentine's Day at 5 p.m. Central, we have frequent listener and good friend Cassie Pennington coming on. And we are going to go over some pictures and stuff that have been sent my way, such as some from April and maybe some other people. and we're going to try to either debunk them or
Yeah,
prove
just send
them.
if you got pictures, send them in.
So yeah, send them in to
Yeah,
me or
if
Carl.
you got pictures,
Well,
send them to
everybody look 'em
Denise
over.
or send them to the Billerites Network
Mhm.
on Facebook, and we're going to go over all pictures that we collect.
Scrutinize and
Yep.
debunk.
Fantastic.
We're gonna be skeptical and believers at the same time,
Right.
and maybe we can figure out what's going on in your picture. Who knows? So I'm looking forward to that. So it's going to be a great week, and next weekend, like I said, we've got that that investigation down at the haunted morgue and church in Ozark, Missouri. So that'll be something fun and different. And so maybe I'll be able to share some pictures from that.
There you go. That'd be great.
Perfect. Perfect.
Cassie, you don't need to do anything. See, I knew who Facebook user was.
Yeah, we know.
So no, you just have to come and have a good time. And if you have any pictures to share, send them.
Yeah,
Well,
bring them and
so-
everything. So, with that being said, I want to thank everybody in the chat room for joining us tonight. Great questions and conversations over there. Bart, thank you again so much for joining
Hey,
us here.
thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it, and it's always fun, getting to see you guys too.
And
Right.
take care of yourself.
I sure will. I sure
I
will.
watch you. I see your stuff every day. And
Well, whenever these guys figure out when they want to get up into that house, we'll get you up there.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds like a plan.
More the merrier, right? The way I look at it.
That's the way it is.
I'll end up hauling a van full of gear up then.
Oh,
With that being said, folks, stay tuned to the Billerites Network for all the shows, and we will see you next week here on Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal. Have a good evening.
Y'all be safe.
good night, everybody.
all right.
And they can still hear us, but we're ending the show.
Oh well, he's already.